Good morning. It's me, Linda Burhans, with Candid Conversations, talking to fabulous people about fabulous things. And a few weeks ago, Cami contacted me and said she thought she had some information that our listeners would like to hear about. And we chatted a little bit, and I totally agreed. So, welcome, Cami.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I know you just got back from a fun trip in Peru, so you're right
Yeah.
back in the thick of things.
Well, I was supposed to leave for Maine Thursday morning, but that's been canceled. Then I was supposed to leave Friday morning. That's been canceled. So we're
Well,
just take it as it goes.
there you have it. Well, as long as we're here, let's give some people some information they can use.
Okay, so tell our listeners what you think they need to hear.
Well, I know that your viewers all have to do with caregiving and all the people that they are supporting. And whether the person that you are giving care to, has a physical disability, an emotional disability, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, any of
Yeah.
that stuff. I took care of my mother in hospice last year. So thank you all for the work that you're doing. The reason that we can be of assistance is because our mission is to fund the mission of other nonprofits. So, charitable gifting of real estate is something that's been happening for over 100 years in this country. $9 billion a year is
Wow.
donated to nonprofits through gifts of real estate, but people just don't know about it. It's something that is foreign, it's taboo, it's scary to a lot of people. And what we want you to know is things change every day. There was a point where we all went outside and used the outhouse, but now the
Right.
outhouse is in the house. We used to all ride horses, and people told Ford that those automobiles would never take off, right? So things change and evolve. And even if you've heard of gifting of real estate and it sounds scary and complicated, what we want you to know is all those nonprofits that you love, all the ones that you volunteer for, they can get funded by the millions of dollars with zero money out of pocket, with no risk, and just easy. And I'm happy to give you as many details as you like.
Yeah. So how would someone go about that? I mean, actually.
Well, to keep it really simple, we have a simple way of explaining. There are three ways that a person who owns real estate can help a nonprofit. The
Okay.
first way is what we hear the most. I'll take Friends of Hospice, for example, because I got very close to them last
Right.
year. If someone had a piece of real estate, they said, you did great work with my mom. I really appreciate you. I'd love to give you this real estate. They would say, go sell it, and once you've sold it, then give us the proceeds. This is the worst way because Uncle Sam gets a big chunk. I don't care who
Yeah.
you are, Uncle Sam's getting their share. So the nonprofit's getting the least, and the donor of the real estate is getting the worst tax advantages. Please don't do this. It's old fashioned, it's outdated, it's the worst way. The second way is if that generous donor wanted to give the property to Friends of Hospice.
Okay.
And the problem is 99.9% of nonprofits will not take real estate for very good reasons. It is risky, it's scary. What if Friends of Hospice is in Florida and this is a $10 million strip mall in California?
Right.
Friends, it happens. 2 weeks ago, Jeff Bezos' ex wife, Mackenzie, donated two houses in California worth $55 million to the nonprofit world. This is happening. But this second way that I'm talking about, giving it directly to the nonprofit,
Right.
is the hardest way.
Because then they have to
Because,
manage it too, right?
well, they got to manage it, Linda. They got to pay off mortgages.
They got
God
enough
forbid
to do.
a hurricane comes through. Exactly. We call it mission drift. They would drift so far off their mission trying to figure out what roofer to use, what reel.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. It's the hardest way. So the third way is the way that we promote. It's the win-win-win way. We have a team of real estate experts from all over the country. So let's stick with Friends of Hospice. The property that's donated could be a strip mall in California. It could be a farm in Texas. It could be a high rise in New York City. It could be a condo in Florida. It could be raw land, commercial, residential. It doesn't matter what it is or where it's from. And it doesn't matter how big the mortgage is. As long as there's enough equity to give to Friends of Hospice,
Right.
we can do it. So
Right.
we have a really simple way of having what we call the specialized nonprofit. So Friends of Hospice, their mission is to help people in hospice, right? People at the Alzheimer's community, help people with Alzheimer's. This nonprofit that we've partnered with, their only mission is to accept gifts of real estate from anywhere in the world of any size for any nonprofit, liquidate it, and give them the cash. It's really that simple.
That it sounds so simple. But
You know,
I don't think people don't think about donating real estate. I think that's part of the taboo. And I'm sure there's people that have real estate that's just sitting around, nothing's happening with it.
well, especially this time of year, Linda, because people are looking for tax deductions.
Yeah.
So all year long, people are donating, and there's huge tax advantages, but we want you to know 80% of the people that do it because their mother was taken good care of and they
Right.
want to help. They do
Right.
it because they're animal lovers and they want to help
Right.
the animals. They're a veteran. They had brain cancer. In other words, they do it for the right reasons. But people just don't know about this. And the reason that you have never heard of it, the reason I had never heard of it, is because there's 1.5 million nonprofits in this country. And if any one of us went to 99.9% of them and said, I've got 500 cash or the deed to a property worth 500,000, 99.9% of the time they take the cash and say no to the real estate. And since they're not taking it, there's been no reason to talk about it or teach
Right.
it until
Right.
now. Until now. So I learned about this 3 years ago. I've got real estate background. I've got nonprofit background. When I learned about this, I said, holy cow, there are 2 million realtors. Let's certify 1% of them. And over
Yeah.
the last 3 years, we've learned it's not just the realtors that need to know about it. Financial advisors, nonprofits, fundraisers, caregivers, because
Attorneys.
attorneys. So caregivers are talking to attorneys, they're talking to Alzheimer's, they're talking to
Right.
senior centers, and all of them need our help. We just need to tell them it is not the old fashioned, risky, scary thing that it used to be. Satellite TV used to have a big one that was 8 feet wide out in the front yard. And if it rained, it didn't work. That's
Right.
not the case anymore. It's this big and it works better than cable sometimes. So my point is things grow and evolve and change. Please don't be stuck in something you heard about 20 years ago.
Right.
That's not what this is.
Yeah. So tell me a success story.
Oh gosh, so many of them. Right here in Florida, there are so many people who have real estate and they don't have any heirs to give it to.
Right.
So we hear all the time about people who are just donating real estate to their neighbor because they're going in the hospital and they don't know what's going to happen with it.
Right.
But I'll give you a really simple one. We had one out in California, 1.7 million, tiny little ranch. In Florida, it might would have been 300,000, but this was in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
$1.7 million house. Easy deal. Fidelity Charitables, which is the largest nonprofit of the 1.5 million, they were screwing it up. They weren't doing it right. So they brought in our team. Right away, the team was able to take title to the property, which gave the donor the tax
Right.
incentive they were looking for. And it was sold, and the nonprofit got the money. Here's our favorite one. This is one I should have told, and I'm going to tell you. December last year, there was a gentleman who reached out to the team. It was December 15th, and he needed a tax deduction that year. He had 15 days.
Oh goodness.
When he reached, but when you have experts that do this for a
Right.
living, they can do it. So 12 lots. This was in California as well. The lots were taken from the gentleman as he wanted, donated to the specialized nonprofit. When those lots sold, they were going to get about 400,000. So the team calls Berkeley Humane Society and they say, Berkeley Humane Society, we want to let you know when this land sells, you're going to get about 400,000. Most nonprofits don't know what to do with that kind of money, so we're giving you a heads up. Berkeley said, real estate, how much, where, can we ask our donors? Absolutely. They were smart enough, Linda, to simply say to their donors, hey, we don't know how this works. No clue. But it does because it's happening. And
Right.
we thought we'd ask, anybody else got any? And a woman raised her hand and she said, I have a 55 and older community in Carmel, California. My mother left me a home there. I'm never going to live there. I've got plenty of my own stuff.
Right.
I'll donate it. So, moral of the story, the first properties closed, they got 406,000 in April. The second property closed in August. 646,000 was the proceeds that the Berkeley Humane Society got. One nonprofit, two donations,
Wow.
6 months, $1,052,000. That's how
Wow.
it works. That's as simple as it is.
That's so fabulous. So where can our listeners find you?
You know, we're called the Real Agents of Change, The Rock, RAOC, The Rock for short. And I'm sure it'll be in the show notes. But if you Google my name, as you see there, Cami Baker, it's really easy to find us. We have a book that I was going to show you. I don't have it in front of me, but Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not.
Oh,
That,
that's fabulous.
that is our book. Friends, that is the easiest way. You can go
Yeah.
on Amazon, you can send me a message. That book's going to be in 30,000 locations, Books a Million,
Perfect.
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
You know, reach out, get the book, join the Facebook group for free. And we have video after video, 20-minute videos that explains exactly how it works. We've made this
Yeah.
so simple. And
Yeah.
no, it is not too good to be true. The nonprofits get funded. The donors get tax advantages. The real estate agents get paid a full commission. This
Yeah.
really is a win-win-win of a lifetime. Don't let jaded thought of this is too good to be true stop you. How bad does something have to be for it
Yeah.
to be true for you?
Just get an education. Just get an education.
Right. Just learn.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, my friend. I look forward to seeing you live in a few weeks at the studio. I'll put all the information in the show, and hopefully we'll have a little action.
And we'll bring some books. I'll give one to you and the attorney that I'll be side by side with.
Perfect.
And I'll see you then, as long as the studio doesn't blow away.
Or us. All right, my friend. Thanks. Be safe. Have a delicious day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.